All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear clearly. Welcome to those people who are part of our Zoom class, and welcome to those people who are part of our YouTube class. I'm going to talk mostly to the Zoom people. If you're on YouTube, and there'll be a lot of you in a moment, please try and join us in the Zoom classes so that you can participate actively using the chat box. My name's Teacher David. I'm the head teacher here at E2 Language, and I specialise in teaching PTE. So I'm going to take you through this part of the session. Good morning, Natika. Nice to have you here. Good morning, Lima. Now, sometimes these sessions are live classes where we discuss methods and work it through in detail. Hi, Gautam. Nice to have you here. Hi, Christian. I hope my technology keeps working today. And sometimes we do live mock tests. Today, I'm going to take you through a live mock test. And a live mock test means less explanation, more you doing in timed under the clock. So you get more practice, but you get less explanation from me, the teacher. Hi, Victoria. Nice to see you back as well. Please turn up. You're welcome to turn up to as many of these classes as your packages allow you to do. It's great to have you here, and it's great to have you participate. The aim is to learn the method, practice the method, and where possible, get feedback. Learn the method, practice the method, get feedback. We're focusing on speaking in this session. If there's any technology issue at any stage, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to make a great start. We've got a good number of people here. Nice to have some recognizable faces back in the group again. The more you practice, the more you work, the better you get. It does work that way. So let's get started. Save your questions till the end. We're going to do more practice than me lecturing or talking. If you want to take advantage of a mini mock test, you're able to do that by going to the website and purchasing one separately. In those sessions, you will get detailed feedback, grades and comments from teachers who want you to do better. So they're going to use their teaching nous to get you to perform better in the test. So you can pay for that and get good feedback. Grab a phone if you've got one. It's a speaking session, so you record yourself, and it's a good idea to hear yourself back often to work out how you're going to adjust the way that you produce English sounds in order to be able to speak accurately. Alrighty, read aloud. Now, read aloud is an easy way to score. Remember, there are 20 parts to the PTE test, and there are 5 speaking parts. First one is read aloud. You're going to see a text. You'll have time to prepare, and then using your eyes and sounding out difficult words, and then you're going to read aloud against the clock as well. There's plenty of time to do this. Read at a moderate pace. Pronunciation, fluency, and content. So pronunciation, words clear, fluency, even rhythm and stress, use the punctuation, and content, don't miss any words out or add anything. So make sure your eyes read what you see. Content, fluency, and pronunciation, read at a moderate pace. Time to prepare, and time starts now. Nice one. Alrighty, so you saw it, you practiced, then you read aloud. Here's a sample answer. Listen to where the words are stressed, where the pausing happens, and where the pausing happens after the punctuation. So stop at full stops. Listen to how this native speaker applies stress to create meaning in these sentences. Listening?
Basically, we have public leaders, public officials who are out of control. They're writing bills that are unintelligible, and out of these bills are going to come maybe 40,000 pages of regulations, total complexity, which has a dramatically negative impact on our life. If you're trying to get a small business loan, you face a blizzard of paperwork. Now, what I want you to do is you do your read aloud using the darkened words for stress and the slashes for pauses. So you're ready? Read aloud. Off the screen starts now. Yeah, I hope that helps you. So you've got an audio version, you've got a visual version of where the stresses come, and you're going to learn to breathe and speak those patterns as a native English speaker. Nice one. You'll be marked on content, oral fluency and pronunciation. Read the words that are there, don't add any more. Oral fluency, read smoothly and fluently, avoid hesitations, repetitions and false starts. And pronunciation, aim to sound native-like by learning the stresses and rhythms and the tones of a native speaker, and also the phonetic pronunciation of individual sounds that differ from your first language. Wow. So you're going to transform by practicing read alouds in order to become more native speaker-like. Okay, good one. Plenty of practice and opportunity to score well. There would have been, you would have scored 15 as a possibility for each of those sections. So your read aloud out of 15, write that score down. And we're going to do another one. Are you ready? Read through and then read aloud on your side of the screen. Watch the clock. Time starts now. Okay, nice one. Now, with this one, I want you to read along with the native speaker. Ready? Eyes glued to this goes back and read along with the audio.
This goes back to the scholastics and to the ancients, that all things can be understood on 4 levels. The literal, the metaphoric or poetic level, the political or ethical level, and ultimately the mystical or sometimes.
Okay, now he had an American accent and he spoke quickly. But you're going to
it's hard to get to those levels unless you go through the literal.
As you do read aloud. Fantastic. Hopefully that was helpful. Out of 15, so total possible score out of 30. 2 read alouds. Done with that practice. Let's move on to find out that if you book a one-to-one tutorial, you'll get extra care and attention given to you in order for you to be able to perfect your skills in this area. Anagogical, good work. And the ticket says, how do you pronounce anagogical? And that is, you do it phonetically. Anagogical. So when we see it, we are going to read it out. And you've got to say words that you've never seen before, but you've got to guess their pronunciation, not from having heard them, but because you're going to read them. Okay, good work. Christian, hopefully we'll keep going. Good one. Repeat sentence. Now this one, you're going to memorize the first part. You're going to understand what was said and then repeat the sentence. So it is memory, but it's memory comprehension. So listen, understand, and repeat. Here we go. Here's the first one.
Today's lecture is cancelled, but all of the information is available online.
Okay, now here's the answer. This is what you heard, and we're going to replay that again. So read through.
Today's lecture is cancelled, but all of the information is available online.
Right, now that's what she meant, that today's lecture is cancelled, first half of the sentence, but all of the information is available online. Second half of the sentence, your brain's going to do that. Good work, Christiane, but speak it back on your side. Okay, here's the next one.
I highly recommend that you teach yourself languages other than the one that I'm speaking.
Okay, now check how you went, see if this is what you said.
I highly recommend that you teach yourself languages other than the one that I'm speaking.
Understand and repeat.
If you speak two languages, dementia is less likely to set in.
Here's the answer. Listening and reading.
If you speak two languages, dementia is less likely to set in.
What you said, if it wasn't, then you're not memorizing or understanding accurately, and you need to do more practice, and that's okay. That's what you're here to do and understand as well. 3 of those, each one of them 13, possible out of 39, plus the 30 from read alouds, total out of 69. Moving on in our live mock test, describe image. Ready? Remember, title, x-axis, 3 key features, and conclusion, all in 40 seconds. Record yourself doing it if you can. If you can't, just practice. All right, here we go. I'll disappear. There it is. Title, x-axis, 3 key features, and conclusion, 25 seconds to prepare, 40 seconds to Good one. Okay, hope you did well. We're going to do another one. Now, with this one, we're going to say beginning, end, 3 key features, and conclusion. Beginning, it's a process, end of the process, 3 key features along the way, and conclusion. 25 seconds to prepare. Time starts now. Nice one. We're going to do one more. All right. Title. We've got two graphs here, two pie charts. Title, x-axis if possible. Low point, high point across both charts, one other. Conclude. So title, x-axis, three key features and conclusion. Same method. 25 seconds to prepare. Time starts now. How are we going? Now, remember, we're moving at speed without too much explanation. Anju, how are you going? Christian, how are you going with describe image? Nikita and France Wiwa and Gautam, how are you going? If things are okay, you've got title, x-axis, title, three key features, low, high, one other, conclusion of whole graph within 40 seconds. It's good this time. Well done, Anju. Okay, we get into the rhythm and we get into the length amount of time we've got to describe something in, and we're seeing what we're describing what we can see. Good one. Shishita says it's difficult to have a conclusion. In conclusion, what we might do is work out the relationship between those three things that we've just identified, low, high, and one other. We might say, over time, this trend has become less popular, or with this, over the period of this graph, we can see that people are buying less ... Good work. In conclusion, it can be seen that US energy production is moving from fossil fuels to renewables at a moderate speed. Kishore, perfect. Okay, you could add the article actually in there and at up moderate speed. Yep. Now the descriptions, exactly, Christiane. So here's the first one. So listen, but analyze the structure. Title, x-axis, 1, 2, 3, key features and conclusion, just like you can do. Here's the first one. Let's listen and watch the graph at the same time. Okay, here we go.
This bar graph shows online social networking platform users by age in 4 age groups. Facebook is the most popular across all age groups, while the platform with the camera icon is the least popular for all age groups except the 18 to 29-year-olds. In fact, the 18 to 29-year-olds are the highest users of all the platforms apart from LinkedIn. The 65 plus age group are the lowest users of all 5 of the included social media. In conclusion, it could be predicted that the younger groups will continue to be the primary users of social media in the future.
Now, in our conclusion, we might summarize, predict, are 2 ways of approaching our conclusion as well. Fantastic. Let's listen to the next model answer. This is a process, beginning, end, 3 points along the way, and a conclusion. Here we go. Listening and reading and looking at the graph.
The image shows the sugarcane refining process. The process begins with the growth of sugarcane on the farm and ends with the use of the final product in homes and businesses. After the cane is harvested on the farm, it is sent to a sugar mill where it's divided into 3 products. Raw sugar is converted to sugar and syrups. Bagasse, which is a byproduct, is converted into electricity. Finally, molasses, which is also a byproduct, is used for fuel ethanol. In conclusion, it can be seen that although raw sugar is the prime product, the byproducts are also useful and all of the final products are consumed either in homes or by businesses.
So importantly, we've got the structure, and then we're making choices about the image that we're seeing that we're going to include in our response. Here's the one about US electricity production, source fuels, listening and looking at the graphs.
The pie charts illustrate source fuels for US electricity production in 2007 and 2013. In both periods, the largest source was coal, followed by natural gas, while the smallest sources were other renewables and hydroelectric. The most significant changes over the period were a drop in coal usage and an increase in both renewables and natural gas. In conclusion, it could be predicted that coal will continue to fall as a source for electricity generation because of a move away from fossil fuels.
Okay, now you wouldn't have said something exactly like that, but you would have said something similar. Fabulous. Keep practicing those from the platform. Possible score, each of those out of 15 for content, fluency and pronunciation. Total running score at the moment out of 114. Keep a note. We're moving on to, before we do, we're going to have a look at speaking and writing feedback. If you set your either speaking or writing feedback into our platform as part of your package, you'll get a 24 to 48 hour turnaround on the marking. What happens is one of our teachers around the globe will look at your assessment and give you a critical feedback, meaning useful feedback, so that you can respond and improve your response next time round. It's an excellent feature. You'll get a detailed score reports and feedback on your pronunciation, content, and fluency. You'll know what to do and how to improve next time on your individual work. And then you'll get a comprehensive score report and feedback on your writing tasks as well, meaning that somebody will mark your essay or your summarized written text and give you critical feedback so that you can then correct yourself and improve your test scores. It's a great service, and it comes as part of each one of your packages, bronze, silver, or gold. Alrighty, retail lecture. Remember, there are 5 parts to the speaking test. The 4th part, or one of the 5, is retail lecture. People have difficulty with this. Why? Because we have to practice a method. What is the method? Listen, take notes, and then remember the framework, which we practice remembering in the live classes and from the videos in the platform, and know what to do. Are you ready? Here's the framework here. You're going to listen, take notes, look at your notes, and then put notes into your framework. All right, good luck. See you at the end of it.
We hear a lot about the collapse of cod. It's difficult to imagine that 2, or some historians would say 3 world wars were fought during the colonial era for the control of cod. Cod fed most of the people of Western Europe. It fed the slaves brought to the Antilles. The song Jamaica Farewell, Aki rice, salt fish are nice, is an emblem of the importance of salt cod from northeastern Canada. It all collapsed in the 80s and the 90s. 35,000 people lost their jobs. And that was the beginning of a kind of serial depletion from bigger and tastier species to smaller and not so tasty species, from species that were near to home to species that were all around the world. And what have you. It's a little hard to understand that because you can go to a Costco in the United States and buy cheap fish. You ought to read the label to find out where it came from, but it's still cheap, and everybody thinks it's okay.
Well done, everyone. It's a bit of a challenge. Remember, describe, image, and retell lecture are the more difficult tasks in speaking. Well done if you got your notes, used the framework, and finished in 40 seconds. Here's a sample answer. So this is the lecture on the left. These are the kind of notes that you might take, but you wouldn't write whole sentences, just single words and short phrases. Here's what we're remembering. The speaker was discussing, he mentioned that, he talked about, he described, he discussed, and suggested that in 40 seconds. So listen to our sample answer.
The speaker was discussing the collapse of cod fishing. He mentioned that it was an important food source around the world, from Europe to Canada, and several world wars were fought over it. Then he talked about how the industry collapsed in the 1980s and 1990s, and how 35,000 jobs were lost. Next, he described this as the beginning of a cereal depletion and the movement towards smaller and less tasty fish. He discussed that today fish is cheap and plentiful in the supermarkets. Finally, he suggested that everyone thinks this is okay,
so from
but really
the notes
it isn't.
that you would have taken, the main ideas, the key ideas, we're keeping an eye on the clock and we're using this framework that we've memorized and the notes we wrote. All right, I hope you did well. We're going to do another one. Listen, take notes, and then use the framework and speak at a reasonable pace and get your answers out in 40 seconds. We're ready for this one. If you're ready for it, write yes into the chat box. And good one, Sachita. I want us to all be as positive as we can because we're going forward with what energy we can bring to our test. And yes, let's go ahead. It's a good one. Let's go forward. Nice one, everyone. Good to see all those recognizable names up there. Let's get started.
From basic biology, you probably remember that the animal kingdom, including humans, have 4 basic primal instincts. You have hunger, you have sex, you have power, and you have the urge for acquisitiveness. As humans, what's important to remember is that we've evolved over time to temper or tame these basic animal instincts, right? We have the capacity to laugh and cry. We feel awe. We feel pity. That is separate and apart from the animal kingdom. The other thing about human beings is that we love to be entertained, right? We love to watch TV. This is something that clearly separates us from the animal kingdom. Animals might love to play, but they don't love to watch. So I had an ambition to discover what could be understood from this uniquely human relationship between television programs and the human conscience. Why has television entertainment evolved the way it has? I kind of think of it as like this cartoon devil or angel sitting on our shoulders. Is television literally functioning as our conscience, tempting us and rewarding us at the same time?
Okay, I'm hoping that was a positive experience as well. Here's a sample answer. So look at your notes, have a look at the text. So the text is on this side. Did your notes that you wrote on your desk, did they look like these? Did you select the same main ideas as the teacher has done in this case? So did what you hear sound important enough to take notes on? And that's what you're focusing on when taking notes. It's not just notes about anything, but processing the big ideas in the names, numbers, and main ideas. Let's listen to a model answer.
The speaker was discussing the 4 primal instincts. She mentioned that they were hunger, sex, power, and acquisitiveness. Then she talked about how, as humans, we have learned to tame these instincts. Next, she described how we feel awe and pity, and how these emotions separate us from the animal kingdom. She discussed how she had an ambition to understand the relationship between television shows and the human conscience. Finally, she discussed that she would look at how TV evolved, and if it was serving as our conscience, and if it was tempting and rewarding us at the same time.
Nice one. Okay, so I'm hoping you had something like that, read at that pace, and completed the task within 40 seconds. Okay, to give yourself a score out of 15, 5 for content, 5 for fluency, and 5 for pronunciation, 30 points over those 2 retail lecture tasks, running total of 144, write it down and give yourself an idea of how well you are doing. Now, perhaps the easiest, but also sometimes the most difficult part is answer short questions, because you need to know the answers already. So there's no information you can use other than your own memory. And how did you build that memory? By practicing. Let's do the first one.
What is the first letter of the word Sydney?
Good work. Now remember, you're speaking these, and the answer?
What is the first letter of the word Sydney?
And the answer that you would have said was S. Well done. Second question.
In which hemisphere would you find Australia?
Good work. And your answer is southern, or the southern hemisphere. So southern was the main word. Let's listen again to the question.
In which hemisphere would you find Australia?
Great. Remember, you're giving single word answers, or you can include articles. All right. Answer 3, listening to the question.
How many buns would you expect to get in a baker's dozen?
The answer is the question. The answer is...
How many buns would you expect to get
13.
in a baker's dozen?
And those you got it correct. Well done. How did you know the answers? You knew the answers already. There were no other clues other than what you knew already. Running score total out of 147. Have a look at the chart here. 2 read alouds, I think it was. 3 repeat sentences, 3 describe images, 2 retell lectures, and 3 answer short questions. How did you score? Now, normally there are a dozen buns in a dozen, but a baker's dozen is an extra bun. Good to know, isn't it? So total out of 147. Why is that a useful number? It's a bit funny, isn't it? Why is that a useful number? Because it means that you've got an idea about how well you might go on the test. So have a look. If we crunch the numbers, great. So if you got 130 plus today, it's likely you would get 79 and above in a test. If you got 105 plus today, it's likely you get 65 and above in a test. And 50 today, you'd get 80 plus and above in a test. Good to know, isn't it? So that's why it's a good idea to track where you're up to and understand your own, how to score yourself. Now, if you had issues today, like there are problems and you want to know how to improve your score, Let's look at content, pronunciation, and oral fluency. So content, if you scored lowly in content, you might want to do more listening practice, like how to take notes from audio texts, how to identify the key words in the audio. Build your vocabulary through reading and through listening, and develop your general knowledge by reading more and doing quizzes. One great question France Riwa has asked here is how to position the microphone during the speaking part. Now, you'll be given a headset, and what you need to do, I haven't got one here, is to put the microphone just below your mouth so you don't blow into it, but it's close enough and sensitive enough to pick up how you're pronouncing words. Remember, it is an algorithmed computer that identifies your production of sound, and you are speaking into a microphone. That's why it's better to speak forward in the mouth, is what we say, meaning engage your lips much more than you would normally, rather than speak in your throat or in your chest or in your head. So use your mouth to speak close to the microphone, to speak clearly into the microphone, and put the microphone just below your mouth so you don't blow into it. Is that clear, France? All right, nice one. Now, it is important you do that because it is a computer that's analyzing your production of sound. Excellent. Good one. Now, your pronunciation, if you want to improve your pronunciation, I really recommend you attend E2 School. And E2 School is free for the next couple of months. And I take those classes with Amber. My name is Teacher David. I'm happy to take those classes. I really enjoy taking them, so does Amber. And we focus in on pronunciation of specific phonemes. So how to produce specific sounds and to affect how a language speaker whose first language is another language other than English can change the way they sound to produce sounds that a native speaker like. And that's what the computer is listening for. The computer is algorithmed to recognize sounds of thousands of speakers within a certain range. And if you're outside that range, you'll be marked negatively. In Speaking Lab, we've got an equivalent algorithm that can identify how you sound and can let you know if you are within that range. So we encourage you to develop the ability to pronounce words very clearly, to understand how to do that, to do it, and then to be assessed on doing it to make sure that you can do really well in this test. So I encourage you to turn up to E2 School. It's free for the next couple of months and you will learn a lot. There's classes on Monday at 11 o'clock and on Thursday at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Melbourne time. So it'll be great to see you in those classes. And I'll tell you that address in just a moment. We focus on vowel sounds and also the other parts of speech, such as stress patterns and intonation. So we really do get to understand it and practice. One of the questions is, what kind of keyboard are we going to use during the actual exam? Is it like the keyboard on a laptop, that a little bit flat, or like the keyboard on a desktop? My experience is, and I've sat the test several times, is, and I've got 90 and everything, so I'm very happy about that. The screen is in front of you, and in front of you, you will have a keyboard, not like a square keyboard like that will sit on the desk and that you'll get used to. So it's a very good idea to practice giving your responses into the computer by using the practice tasks on the E2 language platform. Good one. Fluency. Oral fluency means the ability to flow. So if you're lacking in confidence, which is totally normal for us language learners as well, we just think, I don't want other people to listen to what I sound like. I don't sound very good yet. So we have to develop that confidence by practicing and listening to ourselves so that we can hear ourselves pronounce words accurately. And particularly if you're learning English, some of those sounds don't come naturally all the time. So you need to practice and be heard. If you're unfamiliar with techniques, then stay with us in the classes and learn those techniques to build and practice your confidence and also develop your vocabulary so you're not stopped by coming across words that you don't recognize. I really recommend you review the live classes by watching the recorded versions of these classes and just tuning in and focusing on developing an awareness of the methods and giving yourself a chance to practice and develop your confidence. Use the self-study material on the PTE course and visit the course skills videos so that you can develop your grammar skills. Submit writing and speaking feedback because this will enable you to get assessment done and will teach you how to improve. Book tutorials and create and follow your study pathway once you've purchased a package. All right, don't forget to read the blogs. They're always up to date. And soon I'm going to be recommending which blogs you read this week for this class. All right. You can go to the blog site by looking at this, by clicking on the PTE blog, the enabling skills that focus in on the speaking parts, and read the up-to-date blogs written by our totally competent teachers to guide you how to improve. Please watch the YouTube channel. There are too many videos on there. So access them to focus in on the part of speaking that you're having difficulty with and learn mostly from Jay. And please sign up for E2 School and join us in the Speaking Lab classes on Monday for book club and Thursday for our interactive sessions that you can participate in. If you've got more questions, please take them to the class tonight. And when I say tonight Melbourne time, it's been great to have you here. If you've got a few questions for me, I've got time to take them now, and I'll be happy to answer anything about the speaking part of PTE. Any questions you want to ask? If not, you are free. You are free to go and perhaps do some more study, have a rest, a glass of water, and be aware that you've learned stuff today that you want to keep building. Build your confidence and your knowledge, learn the method, practice the method, get feedback, practice tasks that are off the platform, stay focused during the session, and keep going. So whatever you do, aim forward and keep going in that direction. Thanks, Kellyanne. Good one, Gautam. Love to have you. Thanks, Arne. The accent in the first Realtel lecture, we heard an American speaking today quickly, and we heard an Australian speaking today less quickly. Eileen says she needs a lot of practice. It is practice, and it's everybody knows that they develop their skills by being aware of what you need to do and practicing it and getting better. And enjoy your practice so that you can get better at it. If you want to go from 43 to 80, set yourself goals every day and start to work on the bits that you're not scoring well in. If it's grammar, then ensure that you go to the core skills videos and develop those skills. If it's accent or pronunciation, attend the classes where you can learn and develop those skills too. Good one, Christiane. It's great to have you here and also to get your feedback on the technicals as well. It was a pleasure having you all here. Keep safe and yeah. If you're going to practice for the test, someone says a laptop or a keyboard, they're both laid out the same way. If you're using an English speaking keyboard, which I'm sure you are, but in the test itself, it will be a rectangular keyboard on your desk in front of you. Good one, Ara. Good one, Vichta. I look forward to seeing you again in classes, either on the weekend or during the week. Good luck, everyone, and keep working hard. We're all in this PTE doing this PTE test together. So keep each other supported. You might want to belong to the PE2 Language PTE Facebook site and share information with each other, share ideas, and keep each other, most importantly, keep each other optimistic and positive. Thanks, Artemis. Thanks, Swapnil.